Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. So we are taking another look at a brand today and their kind of history and where they're going and what's going on in general. We've seen the downfall of so many brands recently. And today we're talking about a particular brand that really, I guess, confuses me, because one day I love what they're doing, I love their products, I love their releases. The next day I'm like, oh, that's fine. And then another day I'm like, oh, just give up now. We are going to be talking about Urban Decay, the rise of Urban Decay, the fall of Urban Decay, and the potential re-rise of Urban Decay. I'll explain what I mean a little later. As always, I'll be doing my makeup throughout. You can find all the products linked down below for you. So from its seemingly, like, you know, rebellious, like punk, beginnings, you know, to becoming like this worldwide, incredible, iconic brand. I say iconic a lot, don't I? And then into its kind of like flop era and kind of coming back again. I'm going to tell you why I think Urban Decay can save itself from, or let's say, self-destruction. So Urban Decay launched, this is so much, I didn't realize how long the brand's been around. It launched in 1996. I wasn't even born yet. No, I was very much born. And the brand's goal was to be like slightly different. If you think about the 90s, yes, you had like that whole kind of like grungy, smoky eye kind of situation going on, but a lot of the brands being sold were very classic brands. Think like Estee Lauder, Clarins, Clinique, very like classic, traditional, you know? And they wanted it to be different. They wanted to be like your goth, like, you know, little sister. Like, you know, she's just like a young girl, but she's a goth, so it's not like too dangerous. Versus like, you know, the, let's say, conservative kind of makeup brands that were around at the time and what makeup was doing at the time. It was edgy, it was rebellious, it wasn't too rebellious, it was like Brat's Rock Angels rebellion, you know? And because of this, you know, there was alternative people back in the 90s, of course they were. They quickly gained a following and people were like, oh my god, this is gonna be so different. I think if I had knew they existed at the time, if I was into makeup, I definitely would have gone for them. I definitely would have used some of their stuff. So the brand's early releases were very vibrant in color, like you would expect, and it appealed to individuals looking for something a little bit different. And I have to say, looking at these images of the old Urban Decay products, it looks very 90s. And I know I mentioned Bratz earlier, but it really does give off early 90s Bratz Disney approved rock kind of vibes, you know? I love it. I love that. I love me a Disney approved version of rock, you know? And over the years, they kind of use this like alternativeness to produce really different products, really like innovative products too. And in 1997, so just a year after they launched, let me fact check those years. They launched their 24/7 Glide On eye pencil. This still exists. If you haven't tried this pencil, you have to try it. They have the most smoothest, creamy texture. They glide on with ease, but they are so pigmented and they last a really long time. So if you want a good pencil for waterline, they're the ones to go for. And I think they did like matte and metallic. I swear I had like a metallic bluey green. So beautiful, like mermaid-esque, you know? And this liner, it became a staple, not just for, you know, everyday consumers, but makeup artists would be adding it to their kits. Beauty professionals wanted a bit of the action. It was a really good product and kind of like showed up all the other kind of eye pencils at the time. So they had made this really reliable, iconic product now for their brand. And I think once a brand does that, once they make this iconic product, they gain this trust, everyone wants to use them more, and then, you know, that's everyone's go-to product. Once you find your lipstick, your eye pencil, your mascara that you love, that's your return product, you know? And also Urban Decay's commitment to being cruelty-free and vegan formulations was something, again, at the time that really stood out. I don't even think people were thinking that much about cruelty-free and vegan kind of thing at that time period. Yes, there were people who wanted that, but it wasn't such a big deal as it is now. They were one of the pioneers in advocating for ethical products and beauty practices, and they kind of led the way in that sense, and other brands started to follow as well. Now, I remember walking into a Covent Garden store, right? This was the one in Covent Garden in London, just off the side of the main kind of like square bit in the middle. And again, this was a time I was working for MAC. A lot of my life was taken up by the time I was, taken up sounds terrible, taken up by the time I was working for MAC. But listen, MAC people back then, MAC boys and girls back then, honestly, we thought we were the shit, and it was like the thing, the goal to be a MAC girl, MAC boy, you know. They had the knowledge, they had the skills. We were basically like super rude makeup professionals. You know, it was different. It was fashion forward. It was like, you know, we're the weird ones. And then I remember walking into that Urban Decay store and I felt like such a little geek. I was like, hi guys. The people that worked in there, they were so cool. Have you ever walked in front of like a group of people and fallen over in front of them and they laugh a little bit? It's that kind of feeling walking into that store, but they make you buy something. Is that store still there? I haven't been there for years and years and years and years. So of course you can't talk about Urban Decay and not talk about their naked palettes. This was the thing for them. These palettes were emulated by other brands, trying to copy them, trying to do dupes, you know? Even to this day. These were released in 2010. My first ever naked palette was the Naked Free eyeshadow palette that my fiance got for me. And it was my like prized possession. When I was doing bridal makeup, I would take it out my kit and like sit it there like it was some kind of like golden egg, you know? Like, yes, I have a naked palette. And I still have it today, not in my kit, but I keep it for like sentimental value. So these palettes, as the name suggests, naked, featured like a selection of neutral shades. And they all had a kind of like rough theme around them in terms of the main color. And bear in mind as well, in terms of palettes and all this kind of stuff, we didn't have as much choice as we have now. There weren't loads of like, you know, brands launching and weekly releases. It was very limited choice. So to have these naked palettes and, you know, to have them stack nicely and all work together and be all slightly different in a way, revolutionary. However, the naked palettes now aren't so much of a standout product as they used to be. We'll touch on that a little bit later. So Urban Decay kept expanding and they did like a few cute collections. I think they did that Alice in Wonderland one. That was really nice. And they did this one with Gwen Stefani in 2012. Listen, so here's the thing. Gwen Stefani has had some iconic looks through her career, right? And then they released this palette with a celebrity and her history in her career. You think they'll come out with something really amazing. And, you know, it got decent enough reviews and it was very sought after actually, but this is what they came out with. It's just very boring. It kind of gives the same energy as one of their naked palettes from nowadays. So as we all know, Urban Decay's like start in the industry was very successful, even like in the early days of YouTube. Of course, it would always get like positive reviews, but that has taken quite a steep nosedive recently. And we can't deny that Urban Decay has been like a huge player in the beauty industry and is still very much prominent in you know what they're doing. It's still a very well-known brand and they still have their iconic products. However, they've kind of entered this time period of disappointing everyone. Here's why, right? Naked palette, that kind of like subsection of their brand, they're still doing these naked palette releases, right? And they started to release like this chain of naked palettes that the general feedback was this doesn't make sense for it to be a naked palette or in the naked range. It's just a regular eyeshadow palette. And people were kind of getting like a little bit bored, but also like a little bit offended. And here's what I mean by offended, okay? They were kind of like, you're ruining naked palettes. You're ruining like the naked thing. Like bring out new palettes, but you don't have to call them naked all the time. Like every single eyeshadow palette was like naked. Here's why I think that was a thing. When you bring out a product as iconic as a naked palette, and it is iconic, it's nostalgic for people love it, they're dedicated to it, they're dedicated to the formula, the kind of sense, the mood of those products. So when you fuck it up, people get fucked up too. You're gonna piss them off. For example, let's take a look at some of these naked palettes, right? The Naked and Robin Eisenberg eyeshadow palette with its bright colors, the Smiley Naked palettes, and the Naked Ultraviolet palette, which I really love, by the way. It's beautiful. The term naked with all these shades just didn't make sense to anyone, and it made people unreasonably angry and just kind of like over it, like, oh, I'm done with this naked situation. So opinions and hype around the brand have definitely gone downhill over the years because of such choices, and to be honest with you, not very many like exciting releases. It's almost as if someone's like grandparent took over and was like, I know how to be cool, I know how to be different, and just couldn't do it. It's been a very strange place for a while, has the Urban Decay world. Despite that, I believe very strongly that Urban Decay can come back from this and are doing so quite well. I've seen a change in the brand very recently that seems to be reigniting people's love for makeup again, and that kind of like hype that we had around the brand a few years back. So I kind of noticed this with the release and the like virality, is that a word? How viral their Space Cowboy eyeshadow went, right?
This is the hottest eyeshadow on this app right now. Urban Decay's Space Cowboy is viral because it just adds the perfect shimmer to any look. Tell me why I haven't seen it on any darker skin tones. I'm Jaleesa Jaikran, I'm a pro makeup artist, and here's how to apply it to get that gorgeous wet shadow look no matter your skin tone. Take a bit of black pencil and apply it as close to your lash line as possible, and you can slightly wing it out. Use a smudger brush to buff it out. And take a bit of shadow on your fingers and pass it over the lid. With one layer, this is the shimmer that you get. So although this is absolutely gorgeous, this has a very champagne silvery shimmer to it. So if you're a darker skin tone and you want something that would blend with your shade more, try this one. Let me put you on. This one is lithium. It's described as a warm tone medium brown that would look good on any skin, but especially if you're in the tan to deep range. And this is what they look like side by side. Let me know which side you prefer and if you're going to be trying this look.
Which was this really nice eyeshadow that had this almost like a topper to eyeshadows to give it this really nice shine, this really nice sparkle. Honestly, it wasn't that amazing. It was nice, but the way people were going on about it, I thought it was gonna be like, wow. So I got one. Actually, I got two, and it was fine. It was just fine. It wasn't really much difference to some like sparkly eyeshadows you get in palettes or singles. It was nice. It was a nice formula, but it was something new. It was something different that people were excited to incorporate into their makeup routine, something a little bit different, you know? It was one product that could change up a lot of looks no matter what you were doing. Cute, fun. And then they had the Quickie, I think it's called 24-hour full coverage waterproof concealer. Great packaging, innovative kind of style, really nice formula. Loved it. So then they released these eyeliners, right? And they looked incredible. And they did a trick that I think a lot of the brands used to do in like the heyday of influencers, is send these PR packages that just look so fun and almost like you wanted one yourself, and it kind of encouraged people to buy the product and try the product. So they sent out these massive PR packages with these eyeliners in that actually looked really, really good, and kind of even made me, I fell for it. I wanted to try these eyeliners. Do I use liquid eyeliner? Not really.
Like, I'm sorry. It's from Urban Decay, y'all. Oh my god, it's their new 24/7 liquid eyeliner. Okay, I just set y'all back a little bit, but like, this is so cute.
But I wanted to try them, and they came in amazing colors, really fun colors. It was very, very Urban Decay. Saw it and I was like, this is Urban Decay. This is what Urban Decay is. These amazing colors, the packaging looked incredible, looked really, really unique. This is what I love about the brand. This is what everyone loves about the brand. And more recently, their Hydromaniac Dewy Liquid Blush. These look absolutely incredible. They look edible, they're current, but done in a way that is Urban Decay, with these subtle differences in color, catering for everyone. And yes, they've kind of gone with a trend, which is cream blush, liquid blush at the moment, but it does just go to show you can go with the trends and go with what's, you know, trending now and still be yourself as a brand. And that can be like down to packaging, down to releasing a unique color, like a very deep, rich purple, which is very Urban Decay, you know? You know, if they wanted to do lip oils, they could, which is, you know, a trending product right now, something that everyone seems to like want and love. They very much could, but they could do something Urban Decay, like make a black lip oil, make a deep green lip oil, make a deep purple lip oil. They all colors that look good on the lip and don't actually come out pure green, pure black, but they look good on the lip and visually very Urban Decay, very punk, very different. Urban Decay actually have something very good going for them already, and that is that they they have truly iconic products, but one in particular that will stay relevant throughout time. That's a bit dramatic, but kind of. And not just iconic for their brand, but iconic across, you know, the beauty industry. Everybody knows what this product is, even if they don't use it. And that's their all-nighter setting spray. I personally don't use it. I have it for a while, maybe I should give it a go again. And one thing that brands don't do nowadays, and if they do, it's a very good achievement because it's very hard to do, is release iconic products. Nobody has an iconic product that, you know, will stand the test of time and we'll always remember. It'll be in history books of makeup, you know, not gonna happen. A product that stands as a true icon of beauty. And people are into setting sprays online. People like love them, people believe in them. They have their vitamin C one, they have like their all-nighter regular one, but this is something they could easily cash in on. And I say cash in because that's what, you know, overall makeup brands want to do. It's already a good product that people, you know, works for a lot of people. So you know how MAC have Fix Plus, right? Which they claim is a setting spray, but it isn't a setting spray. But yeah, every summer they come out with a watermelon one. There's that white tea, cucumber they do, and was it pineapple? I can't even remember. But they're lightly fragranced and it's cute. They could absolutely do that. Release like an all-nighter body mist spray that gives you a shimmer to your skin. You know what I mean? They could have a gold one, silver, like a rose gold. They could play on their strong points with a product that is, you know, been tried and tested, but change it up a little bit. Limited editions in that formula. Like I said, like the lip oils with these different colors. I have a whole video redoing their She-Hulk collection because the collection was terrible. It was awful. So I redid the whole collection and be like, this is what it could have been like or should have been like, in my opinion, because it just seemed like the creativeness wasn't there. You can't have this She-Hulk collection and do the least with it. You know what I mean? I did hear a rumor that they were trying not to do too much color because they wanted to appeal more to the Asian market, and in places like, you know, South Korea, Japan, it is a little bit more muted and, you know, the focus is on other parts of the face, not necessarily so much around the eyes. Not for everyone, but you know, you can get some general beauty trends in countries. They still have the ability to be unique in the makeup industry despite all the noise. If I could say one thing to the people at Urban Decay, their creative team, the people who are deciding what direction a brand is going in, what products they're releasing and what they're doing, it would be your Urban Decay. Come on, pull your finger out, get a grip, remember who you are, where you started, what your brand is. People are experimental with makeup now. They want new things. They don't want the basics anymore. Remember who you are and why people loved you and why some people still do. You can do it. I believe in you. I believe there is a resurgence for Urban Decay. I really, really do. I would love to know what you think down below. Let me know any comments or any opinions you have on Urban Decay. I would love to know what you're thinking, and if you're in the same mind frame as me. Sometimes I'm like, I can't be the only one who's thinking this. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up, consider subscribing. You can watch more brand related videos here on your screen. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.